Questions by MP Irion. What exactly does it mean for the approval of a backup plan for the loan for the funding of the generators for GEBE? What is the plan A if this is a backup plan? Answer, the plan A is GB, that is what GB would look in for financing itself. So when we started with our government, we encountered ourselves with the imploding of this energy insufficiency for the community. And at that particular moment, we had the necessary meetings with the GEBE, and they already then initiated negotiations with consortium in the group of banks and insurance companies, and that is their plan A that they had. So your question to what was the plan A? The plan A was that GB was busy with a group of consortium for the financing and investment that they needed to actually reorganize the GEBE. Question 2 is there any possibility for GEBE to get financing outside of the local market? Did the government attempt to get any financing outside the local market? Is there concern only that it would be at 6 or 7%? Is the concern only that it would be at 6 or 7%? The answer is government did not look for any other form of financing because initially GEBE informed us that they were busy with the consortium group negotiation for financing to solve the problems that they were encountering. Did the board of GB request this loan from the government? Who initiated this process? Did the board of GB request this? Does government have approval from the board to go through with this process? Was there a shareholders meeting with points on this to proceed to get a loan from the Netherlands? If so, what was the date of this approval? I would like to refer to a letter that I have received from GB. In this letter, it's mentioned that the supervisory board and the temporary manager are confident that necessary financing for the new permanent units can be secured by the end of the third quarter of this year. That is initially the information that GEB transferred to us, to me. However, in the same letter, a request to the shareholder was made for a backup plan. They mention also the word backup plan in case GEBE is not able to secure necessary financing in a timely manner with the consortium group that they were busy with negotiating. So to avoid delays in the procurement of the units, we initiated then an approach realizing the severeness of the crisis of energy. I approached the BZK, explaining him the threatening national energy crisis that we were in, and I approached them if they had the willingness to sit with us to discuss the possibility of a loan for GEBE, realizing what they were going through. But indeed, a letter was directed from GB on request also of the supervisory board to inform us and ask us to start with a backup plan because probably they would realizing that they were not getting through with the negotiation that they were busy with the consortium group consisting of insurance companies and banks. Questions from MP Otley. What is the plan for the VKS? Can we beef up that system for the season? Is there budget to do so? The practice is that whenever, for example, the police force is in need of additional assistance, there is an agreement that they will call on the VKS. If there are any additional costs, the minister will be informed and it will be dealt with. So in principle, there is already an ongoing agreement between police and VKS, and whenever they need enforcement, they have the accessibility to VKS. Question 2, Every minister mentioned their staff and gave details. Prime Minister did not provide his staff details. The MP wants to know the labor contract, the named company persons, and the amount. The cabinet of the Minister of General Affairs consists of 1 chief of staff, 1 legal advisor, 2 policy supporters, and 1 executive assistant. The chief of staff, 1 of the policy supporters, and the executive assistants are civil servants. They receive their current salary with the additional allowance that is currently this normal. The scales of these 3 are scale 12, 7, and 5 respectively. The legal advisor and 1 policy support both have a contract which is in accordance with the policy as referred to already and are scale 14 and 9 respectively. Cabinet functions are not public functions, therefore I cannot divulge the private information of those workers of the staff, but I gave you the amount of staff members working and also the scale that they are in. Finally, as mentioned, there is no consultant in the Cabinet of General Affairs
Minister
at
Mercelina,
this particular moment.
if I could just interject a interruption for a moment with your indulgence, and I then give MP Otley the opportunity for an interruption at this time.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I almost was going to say, you know what, just forget it at this point. Just forget it until that explanation that cabinet functions in private. We had 7 ministers and 6 gave the information. So does the Prime Minister and his cabinet fall, through you, Madam Chair, fall under a different rule, regulation that you cannot answer the members of Parliament? Because when Prime Minister Silveria Jacobs was asked the question, it was given in detail. Name, amount, contracts amount. When Minister Omar Otley was asked the question, it was given in detail. So the answer, I'm not, no. Because all the other ministers respected the members of Parliament and answered this question. So can you please, through you, Madam Chair, I would like to know, to receive the answer to the question that I asked.
Thank you, MP Otley. Prime Minister, do you wish to go into, or how do you wish to go into the question by MP Otley?
Madam Chair, I do not see the relevancy.
Whoa.
No, I do not know. I do not see
Members, that's not
the relevancy to
the way allow the Prime Minister answer to give his answer in terms of what he's going to say.
to
Prime Minister?
expose name related to skills. I don't think that is ethically correct to do with people working in government. I have given the amount of persons working in the cabinet. I have described their function, and I have given the scale, and I do not see the relevancy of now exposing people en public, relate them to the scale, and relate them with the scale then to an amount related to the scale. So I think for privacy reasons, I think it's not correct if I do that as Prime Minister. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Prime Minister.
Second interruption.
You may have a second interruption.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, again, as a member of Parliament, I'm asking a question. The Prime Minister can feel how he wants to feel. As a member of Parliament, I asked about consultants. The Honorable Prime Minister, through you, said that he doesn't have consultants, he has persons on labor contract. I specifically asked for all the names of the persons or companies that were on the labor contract and the amount. Madam Chair, I am asking for the respect as a member of Parliament to receive this. I even opted, Madam Chair, and this is why I'm so adamant about it, I opted for this information to be sent to me in writing. And that is also private. If it was sent in writing, I can say, okay, patience, I understand. But not even in writing it was sent. And again, I refer to the fact that all other 6
Okay, MP,
ministers
remember the
gave
usage
their,
of.
I understand. I clearly understand,
Thank
Madam
you.
Chair. But at this moment, I would like my question to be answered. I don't know if it can be sent in writing, but I don't think so because it's public meeting at this time. I would like my question to be answered. And I'll await here at this interruption podium to see what the response is.
Prime Minister, do you have anything to add to your answer given to the first time the MP posed the question?
President of Parliament, I am a little careful with giving information because in the beginning of this session, a member of Parliament said that he is going to publicize the answers that were given. And I really don't think it's correct for us to start mentioning names, breaking the privacy of people working in government, while I gave the function and I gave the skill, and there are no consultants working by me, so everybody working in my cabinet is related to a skill. So if the Prime Minister, if the Member of Parliament wants it in writing and he can guarantee the privacy of people working in the cabinet, I have no problem to send him in writing.
That is clear, and I thank you, Prime Minister. And
your social and health insurance is your social and health insurances.
Are you SXV insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXV is cardless. Request your My SXV account today and enter the virtual office of SXV. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
Your social and health insurances.
It's hurricane season. Are you prepared? Here are a few tips to keep in mind to help keep you and your family safe. The Atlantic hurricane season runs from June 1st to November 30th, with the peak occurring between mid-August and late October. This hurricane season, be sure to put together a go bag. A disaster supply kit including a flashlight, batteries, cash, first aid and supplies, medications, and copies of your critical information if you need to evacuate. This public service announcement was brought to you by the government of St. Martin.
I have a question regarding my interruptions regarding GB, but I just want to make a statement. There's a slight contradiction from the Prime Minister, because the Prime Minister is mentioning that he wants to protect the identity of the staff in government, but actually the government has published the names and positions of all their staff in the first weeks of working. So how can it be that the publishing was in a government email? So it's public already. So why now, when the MP is asking for that same information that you provide to all the government staff, that the MP cannot get it? So I think that's a bit weird, Prime Minister, because you know that you have published the information and the names and positions already. What he didn't publish was the skills, but he's not asking for that. My question is regarding GB, and at this point, I feel a little, I feel a little sorry for the Minister of Finance, because I could see her trying to defend something that I don't really think that it comes from her, because her information regarding the backup plan is not in line with the Prime Minister's information. The Prime Minister says we had a whole CC regarding budget debate. At no point in time was it related to us as members of Parliament that this was a backup plan. Your speech, a very emotional speech, was about how urgent and how important it was to get the engines up and running. I even asked about GB, and you said then that GB has failed.
It's an interruption that you're making use of.
Has failed to get the financing from the consortium. But today you state probably GB were not able to get the financing from the consortium. Probably. That means as if you do not have the information. So my question is, were they able to? Is it still ongoing or not? Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Realizing the seriousness of the crisis threatening livelihood of people in St. Martin, I have been informed and requested to look for other option for financing, for investment in GEBE, and I assume my responsibility, and I approached the BZK and asked them if they are willing to discuss a loan, and they were willing to, and then I gave that information to GEBE, and now we are so far that we are waiting on approval, because GEB is not able at this particular moment, the way I am informed, that they're going to get through with the consortium group of bankers and insurance companies to get the $42 billion for investment for GEBE. Okay. Question 2. I had it about this, yes. Okay. Statement. Okay. What is the company used for the 10 megawatt generators? Which company was used for the 10 megawatt generators? As presented in Parliament on June the 25th, 2024, the 10 megawatt generators were rented from So Energy International. What date was the agreement for this 10 megawatt generator signed? And what was the price? The overall cost for the rental of the generators was $1,942,150. The question 6 is, what company was used for the 20 generators that just recently arrived? When was that contract signed? Who purchased, paid for them, and how, and for how much? As was also presented to Parliament on June the 25th, 2024, the 20 megawatt generator were purchased by GEBE themselves, with a 3-year lease-to-own contract from CMEC. The cost of this contract was $7,723,000. This is a statement. MP Brug. GB, all of us are a victim of GB. Whoever is sitting needs to address the issues. Glad to hear that it's a backup, and MP hopes government is looking into another solution. Has government received an alternative option, or was an alternative solution brought forward even from within government? At this moment, the intention is to proceed with the backup plan, realizing that GB is not getting through with the negotiations with the consortium group. And that is in the case that we sit now and discuss the conditions for the loan. For clarity's sake, no discussions about the condition for the loan has been discussed until now. It's only the question if they are willing to. They said they are. Seeing the urgency and the threat from the national crisis, the State Secretary asked me to, in the meantime, accommodate it in the CAPEX, and he will accommodate it in his budget. The fact that it's in the CAPEX doesn't mean that we have to make use of it, because we have to get to an agreement first for the loan conditions for this $42 million. MP La Cruz, why are we purchasing generators with LNG if there is no plan to run these generators on LNG? The generators that are being manufactured now have the option automatically that you can run them also on LNG. It is not that you can order it separately. As I understood, these generators are also possible to be run on LNG. MP Roseburg, looking at relief for the people of St. Martin, electricity is our basic right, but people cannot enjoy it some kind of relief then needs to be provided. Government is in agreement with this relief, of course, that we realize is necessary. However, government considers that it should be a sustainable proposal and not something for the short term, which in the long term can have a negative effect on GEBE. So you have to realize whatever decision you take with a GEBE that is actually confronting its challenges, you have to be careful what the financial impact will be if a decision is taken. As for example, in the past, we took away 43 million from GEBE because we had to accommodate something else. And now we are paying the price that we did not invest on time and accordingly for GEBE, getting ourselves in more problems. So we have to be careful with decisions that we take because we have to really consider the sustainability financially also from GEBE.
Your social and health insurance is your social and health insurance.
Are you SXV insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXV is cardless. Request your My SXV account today and enter the virtual office of SXV. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
Your social and health insurance.
The Collective de Desamata is taking a new step forward in its commitment to a cleaner and more responsible environment. New voluntary drop-off bins have been installed in several neighborhoods, offering residents a simple and eco-friendly solution for waste sorting and collection. These new installments aim to make waste management easier while encouraging everyone to actively participate in preserving our surroundings. We spoke with Vice President Bernadette Davis, who explained how these new facilities will contribute to a more sustainable future for all.
Inaugurate on the entire policy that we're doing in terms of our waste management, and this is one of the sites that we have put in place. They're going to be, this is what we call the alveoles. We will deploy that, we have about 8, and they will be deployed from Bayo all the way to the end. In terms of the sorting bins, the recycling bins we have about 40 on island right now. By the end of this program, we would have deployed 125. We're begging the population to at least understand where we're going in terms of environment. It's for all of our benefit. We do not want to see anything on the side of the road. We have provided a place now. Anytime you're doing green, anything that's grass, green, it goes in here. Anything that is what we call the encumbrant, the bigger stuff, goes here. Not televisions and stuff like that. Because remember, everything that goes in here, we have to take them by big machine to pick them up. Anything else will have to go to the déchetterie in Galleys Bay for now. All those bins we have over there are recycling bins. We know that the green, anything, bottle goes there. The orange is for plastic and cardboard paper. And if we can arrive at just respecting this, we would have done so much for our environment and for the cleanliness of the island. Also very important, we will put up the signs. Really, you're not supposed to put your garbage out before 6 p.m. Why? Because of the heat, we would have terrible odors emanating from these garbage bins. So we are asking the population to respect that order also. Put out your garbage after 6 p.m. Remember, we have people that picking up the garbage from 11 until 3 a.m. So when you wake up every morning, you have a clean island, and we want to keep it that way. The private sector and for small entrepreneurs that has less than a metric cube of waste. Anything other than that, you have to use the competence of a trucker who will take it directly to the waste management site. Yes, this is definitely, and this has to be respected. Definitely no construction waste. This is not for construction waste.
But for Mont Vernon, for this whole residential
Yes,
district,
this is it. This is it.
for the whole-
It saves you the time than going all the way to Galleys Bay.
That's a good-
Favour Williams has been appointed the country's finance minister. Prime Minister Andrew Holness made the announcement during the post-cabinet press briefing this morning.
Favour Williams, MP, will assume duties as Minister of Finance and the Public Service. Senator Dr. the Honourable Dana Morris Dixon will assume duties as Minister of Education, Skills, Youth and Information. And Mr. Matthew Sabuda, MP, will reassume his role as Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation.
The post became vacant following the resignation of Dr. Nigel Clark, who departed the island today to become one of 4 deputy managing directors of the International Monetary Fund, IMF. Mrs. Williams is the first female finance minister in the country since independence. She previously had a stint with the finance ministry as state minister.
Ensure that whoever is in the Ministry of Finance is a disciple of the government's policy of fiscal discipline. That is what is really important. I could never put anyone there who is going to in any way depart from the hard-earned gains and sacrifice of the Jamaican people to get us to where we are today. And I'm confident that Minister Williams is a disciple.
And November 22 is the date for the by-elections in the Trelawney Southern and St. Andrew Northwestern constituencies. The Trelawney Southern seat has been without a member of parliament since the resignation of Marissa Dalrymple Philibert on September 21 last year. She resigned after the publication of an Integrity Commission report and subsequent ruling that she be charged for allegedly making a false statement in her statutory declarations. However, Prime Minister Andrew Holness at Wednesday's post-cabinet says Mrs. Dalrymple Philibert will again run on the party's ticket.
Of the constituency, Marissa Dalrymple Philibert will be the Jamaica Labour Party's candidate for Trelawney Southern. It's difficult to speak for Marissa as to why she resigned and then she's coming back. And I'm certain she will give an explanation. But my own view is that she really respected the perspectives of the public with whatever was accusations were laid in the public domain, and she thought it was the honorable thing to do. But I think that as she went through the constituency and people kept demanding that she return, and she does have quite a popular support in the constituency. So, it's really the will of the people.
As to why the prolonged wait for a by-election in the constituency.
Be sure that whenever you call an election, you are in a good position to win it. And that's just the reality. You want to be sure that you are in a position that your government can continue. That doesn't speak to any disenfranchisement of the democratic process. Just to be clear, however, the people of Southern Trelawney were never deprived of any representational benefits that would accrue from having their member of parliament. Provisions were in place to ensure that whatever benefits that would come to constituents who are in need or whatever service they needed, that those services would continue.